Okay, so let's just continue. David John Walter, Petition of Right, which is a prima facie evidence, and it's a forensic document, pages 91 to 100. And there would be one more slide after this, one more recordings, which is going to be from 101 page up to page 119. Now, this goes back to the Act to give legal force and effect with the state of Queensland to the provision of Constitution of the Church of England in Australia contained the first schedule hereto and for other purposes connected with an incidental to above object. So you can see the Queensland seal. It's actually interesting because that's actually the Partnership Act 1890 that's got the seal as well. So just give me a second. Let's go back to Partnership Act 1890. Yes, so this is the Partnership Act 1890 seal. Then we go back to page 91 because that's where we are right now. There we go. Okay, so using the Queensland seal. All right, so then the Majesty is the current holder of the Crown and the holder of the Companies Act 1948, owning the land in Australia and England, holding imperial measurements. So it should be in imperial measurements, right? Imperial measurements, and have remained the same from 28th of December 1961, and hold under seal by Your Majesty the Queen, current holder of the Crown. So right now it's not the Queen because the King took it over. It's the successors. Okay, Corporation Act 1990. Now this is a reprinted act, so there's the private seal again. This reprint commenced immediately before 15th of July 2001. Powers under Reprints Act 1992 have been used these reprints to bring legislation into line with current drafting practice State of Queensland 2019. This work is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution for International License. Then the Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk is a private person, and the elected members of the registered political parties and Chief Executive Officer of Parliament of Queensland, and the current holder of public seal affixed to the Parliament of Queensland Act 2001, private seal again, Corporation, Queensland Treasury Corporation. Then they go back, the Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk MPIC is the current holder seal as affixed to the Australian Constitution Act 1844, current as 2nd of August 1907, current as 30 September 2020, State of Queensland 2020, Australian Wastelands Act 1855. So it's all connected to Queensland, Queensland private seal, Queensland private seal, Partnership Act 1891, which is again the private political parties one, private seal. Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk is the current holder of the seal affixed to the Partnership Act 1891 and does not recognize the seal affixed to the Partnership Act 1890. Yeah, so when you do the petition of right, you're going to fall under the Partnership Act 1890 and not the 1891 because that's the Premier is holding it, Anastasia. Held by Your Majesty the Queen, the current holder of the Crown, and defender of the face affixed to the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900 UK. Now, the Land Act 1994 being a private act and held under the private seal held by Chief Executive Officer of Queensland Treasury Corporation, the Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk MPs are responsible for administration and sale and is the Australian decimal currency of Elizabeth II, commencing 14th of February 1966, and proceed of the sale or rents taxes lands, including land tax rates, going and consolidated revenue fund of the Queensland Treasury Corporation in Australian currency, which includes the electronic currency, and hold to the public seal of the Council of Australian Government or COAG, as hold to the Royal Australian Titles Act 1973. So, private money. And it's not or consolidated revenue fund because or consolidated revenue fund here in any state you are, it can be only pound sterling and pounds. Queen of Australia is a fraud, it's a corporation, okay? It's hold no authority, no delegation authority, no royal assent, no contract, no authority, no royal coat of arms, yeah? So Queen of Australia, fraud. No political judge holding a signed person-to-person contract under the seal with the Chief Executive Officer, Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk, hold any seals of the Supreme Court of Queensland. And then again, no political sworn in judges or magistrate, any judicial officer or any another sworn officers to the Supreme Court of Queensland, which includes the members of Queensland land legal profession, do not recognize the people, their real personal property and money, which include Your Majesty the Queen, right now is the King, the current holder of the Crown and defender of the face, hold the seal of Partnership Act 1890, which is the seal affixed to the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900, yeah, British subject, We are under the Constitution, the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900. All these private political parties, they are under the Australian Constitution Act, which is a private constitution, and that's for the private political parties. The Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk MP is also current holder of Australian Constitution Act 1844 and the Australian Wastelands Act 1855, the holder of the land in Australian Wastelands Act 1855 and no holding the lands in 1994. Queen of Australia, it's fraud, it's simple, it's just absolutely no authority, no delegation authority, it's not the proper crown, it's false, so fraudulent, fraud, whatever, corrupted, deceptive, whatever you want to call it, okay, it's a piece of paper. It's good for toilet paper. Sorry. No pecuniary penalty or fine imposed on any person in Australian decimal currency commencing on 14th of February 1966 or any private prison sentence orders given by any political sworn appointed judge or magistrate hold under seal affixed to any act. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Australia and her other realms and territories, head of the Commonwealth, is above the power of the Constitution and no such penalties are invalid ab initio. Professor and Queensland Bar Association are above the power of Constitution are invalid ab initio. Boom. Remember, this is a prima facie evidence. It's a forensic document. No justice in Queensland. Private seal. Supreme Court Queensland Act 1991. Department of Justice and Attorney General. There's the ABN active 1st of November 1999. Remember, we had the referendum in 6th of November 1999. They already introduced in 1st of November 1999. Department of Justice Attorney General Crown Law. Business name, Mina Collection. Grade, Bigfoot. Business details, Mina Collection holder. Name, Rina Mavardi, holder type person. There's the ABN. So that's how the Department of Justice and Attorney General registered as a corporation. Boom. Well, let's just go deeper, right? No justice in Queensland. Justice Act 1886. An act to consult law about the powers and jurisdiction of justices and magistrates and to provide for proceeding before an appeal from justices and magistrates and other matters. Wastelands Act 1855, Australian Constitution Act 1844, judge or justice. So judge or justice. There is no lawful judges, just remember, as of 1966. Electronic currency without referendum, AUD. So that's how they introduced, again, private seal, private seal, private seal, private law. General provision, whenever by an act passed or future, by this act any person is made liable to penalty or punishment or to pay a sum of money for any offence, act or omission, such an offence, the omission not by the act declared to be indictable offence, not all the provisions made for trial of such a person, the matter may be held determined by the magistrate court considered subject to this act, by two or more justices in summary manner under the provision of this act. Okay. By two or more justices in summary manner. Division in Criminal Law Amendment Act 2017, private law again, of course. Then you got ABN number, Department of Justice, Attorney General, Department of Justice and Attorney General, Crown Law. So, the political sworn judges of Supreme Court in Queensland can only administer Queensland justice and under the seal affixed to the Justice Act 1899, and the seal is held by the Chief Executive Officer, Queensland Treasury Corporation, the Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk. Okay, so interesting, huh? So you can have a look. This is on page 98. We went through to the page 100, and then we're gonna go next with the starting the Criminal Code Act 1899. So that should be actually the Criminal Code Act 1899 because the Justice Act is 1886. So just some more information for you guys to learn, and this is very important. Listen a few times, read that David John Walter Petition of Right, because it's so much information that you actually comprehend where you're standing, who you are, and what they have done as of going back to the 1800s.